Welcome to Exposing the Hidden Reality. I'm Annette, career reinvention coach and caffeine-powered human.
And I'm Sandra, women's life and leadership coach. I bring the woo to our conversations.
And this is the podcast where we call out all the unspoken stuff, biases, outdated expectations, and all the things women navigate in work and in life.
Yes. We bring to light what we see happening. Smart, capable women stuck in the same patterns because no one really talks about what's going on.
We'll bring some difficult truths.
Welcome, insightful experts.
And sprinkle in a little chaos and fun.
It wouldn't be us if we didn't, right?
It's true.
So whether you're walking the dog or tuning in during your commute, we're glad you're here. Let's do this.
Let's do this. You want to do the let's do this together? Like 3, 2, 1, let's do this. All right, 3, 2, 1. Let's do this. Let's do this, Anne. We're so excited to talk with our friend Anne. We have been in touch for a while. I think we first connected during the pandemic lockdown. And she has just a cool way about her. So Anne, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you introduce yourself to our audience, and then we'll get to a really cool topic. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm Anne Rusnak, and I am a business lifestyle strategist where I show busy, frazzled women, entrepreneurs, and coaches how to actually design a 5-star lifestyle that they absolutely love and a business that supports it without burnout or losing your income. And I've been doing that for quite a while already. So yes, that does incorporate part of what our topic is going to be today as well.
Yes, I love that. So talk a little bit more about what you do. How do you help women do all those amazing sounding things without burning out?
Basically, I'm going to give a little bit more of a background for me, if that's all right with you guys, because I'll actually touch on that topic about the bias that shows up in time management. Is that I always knew I wanted my own business. And so I actually studied business. I was in retail management, learning how to manage, hire, do everything, because I knew someday I would have my own business, other than lemonade stands and carnivals, as a kid. And my business grew very fast because of that knowledge. In fact, I even had an intern working with me. My accountant was like amazed at how fast we grew. And what looked very successful on the outside was extremely frazzled on the inside. Because I'm going, all right, I don't know what to do here. I started taking a whole bunch of time management stuff.
Yeah.
And one of the classes that I was in, after it was all done, I then raised my hand and I asked a question. And I think I might have been the only female in the thing taking this class. And I said, so this is nice, but when am I going to go pick up my daughter? When am I going to get the groceries? When am I going to clean the house? When am I going to do this, and this? And everyone it was just silent. The whole room was just silent. And what had happened, one brave soul, he goes, my wife does that. And I'm like, great. My husband won't get me one. I have asked for a wife repeatedly, and he just refuses.
That's terrible. He should still get you one. But yeah, go ahead.
And I'm going, and I said, now I want the hair up. Heck with the one. I want all of them. But anyway, I ended up actually so exhausted that I collapsed on the floor taking my daughter to school.
Oh, no.
And of course, she got panicky. She was like, what's going on? And I wasn't taking good care of myself anymore now either.
Right.
And I don't care what books I read, how many classes I took. They all assumed you had a clean slate and nothing else was going on. Or you had to have one of their special planners to make everything work. And I literally had almost, was rushed to the hospital. But I basically had to just stay in bed and rest.
Yeah.
And I'm going, I'm watching my business kind of disintegrate. And I'm going, because I'm the salesperson. So I'm seeing it kind of like, uh-oh. And I actually got to start thinking, get out of that fog, because I was no longer pushing and trying to keep going and pushing and keep going, and followed a lot of those myths that are out there that if you just put in so many hours, you're going to be more productive. And you've heard them all, that, success comes from hard work. Success is the reward after you put all the time in. And I kind of reached out to a few people that I'd met networking. And I said, look, I know you didn't kind of go through this, or you found ways around it. And so I had several mentors, a couple of them I had to pay for, that actually working, with them, I literally had like 15 minutes sometimes to get out of bed or off the couch, wherever it was I was working, and go into my office, get something done. And then I was like, okay, I have to go rest again.
Yeah.
And what had happened was I ended up increasing my income, working less hours.
Wow.
Because got super focused, learned about to do this 15 minutes. And I ended up creating this system of being able to, it was arranged around how we do certain things around certain days. And I was also, because I ruined my health, I can no longer go traipsing around on construction sites and everything else. The internet, I already started looking at the internet before people were even on there. Mm-hmm. And I went, okay, I think I can come on here and actually do some stuff. And I had started people wanted to go online, but they were afraid. I had already been shopping on, Amazon and other places as well. And so I told people, well, look, I'll go shopping for you. You can have the stuff shipped to your house. And I just signed up for a bunch of affiliate programs. This is like right before the .com bubble. And what had happened was I'm looking at this, I'm going, if I'm going to make this viable, I need to have some kind of software or something so I can keep track of everything. But I also knew this can't last. As far as I know, if you're not making a profit in business, you're not going to be around for very long. Although I was hoping the laws of business did not apply to online stuff, but reality was like, it's going to crash. So I was in several forums, and of course you had to type because we didn't talk yet. And I had a lot of people ask me, well, how are you doing this? Because I still had clients from my business. Plus I'm now doing this other business. Plus I'm taking time off. And they're going, how are you doing this? Because guess what? They're all running in the same thing as well. Yeah. And I had this email sent to me from one of the girls in the forum. And she goes, Ann, I am so burnt out, basically. Yeah. And she said, I am trying to run my business at home, keep up with my children, go to their events, still take care of my husband, take care of all that other stuff. And she goes, I'm going to be turning 31 next week, but I feel like I'm going to be 61. Mm-hmm. And you mentor me. And I said, yes, I can. You have to follow my rules because they're going to seem like these aren't going to work. But I told her, you're going to have to take time off, strategic time off. And I know I balked at that at first too, because I'm going, wait a minute. I've got all this stuff had piled up. But when you take that time off, your brain refreshes. You have more clarity, and you actually do get a lot more done. And so when I mentored her, I realized I had a system here. And so that's how this whole thing got evolved. And if you pay attention to a lot of the time stuff that's out there, it's all by men. It is all, but nothing wrong with men. I married a really great one. But they don't deal with the issues that us women deal with. And so it's basically all this time stuff is stacked against us because we're still in charge of the kids. The bulk of that, I don't care how liberated everything is, the bulk of it still falls on our shoulders. And my husband traveled. And when he was home, I could count on him. I just couldn't count on him being home.
Right.
So he'd help out where he could. And, so I ended up, doing the system. And I actually took a break for a little while, wrote my book, and I'm going, there was still something missing in that system. And what was missing was a lot more the mindset, because mindset is like the foundation of everything. And at the time, you did not mix woo-woo and business together. And now you do.
Now you
I
do.
say if you want some wow, you got to have some woo. And and so I went back and I'm going, oh my gosh, people are even busier now than ever. And then we just kind of updated our system and added a lot of the mindset. In fact, that becomes almost priority with taking that time off, because you can do all of the strategies and you can find the best time system or you can find the best marketing, whatever, but your mind can get in the way stopping all that. And so that's kind of how that all got started. And so it's basically, we combine more of we have a time, a money, and a mindset that it all works together, which we call the unstoppable success system.
Okay. I love that. I'm sorry that you went through that, but I love that you built something from those ashes. And you actually built it because you found yourself not able, and I don't want to say to be as productive, but you found yourself not being able to be as active as you once were. And in that stillness, in that space is where you found the right mix of things to do.
Yes. And yes, you have to access that time off as a priority. We are brought up that's a reward. If you remember and I'm going to just go general 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
We work our 40 hours. We get our 40 hours in. And then when the weekend comes, that's our reward for doing our 40 hours or whatever it is that you're doing, right? Yeah. No, if you're running a business, that comes first. You have to get those on your calendar immediately. And I tell people, if you're using a paper, then put a big red X on those days. If you're using, a digital, make sure it's big red. And I still do a combination. So yeah, there's a big red X on my days off. I actually probably do a minimum of 5 days off a month.
Okay.
And that is a 24-hour disconnect from your business. It's like, and it's like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do taking this time off? And I actually had one of my clients, say that. She goes, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And I says, the things you love to do, the things why you started your business before your business took over your life, write them down. Because if you don't write them down, what's going to happen is you're going to go, okay, this is my day off. Now what? And you're going to be tempted to go check the email, to go online, to, go whatever. And I want to do one little clarification. Binging on Netflix is okay. So you can go binge. It's up to you on how you want to set up your time. Also, you don't have to follow the traditional 9-to-5 or the Monday through Friday. You can pick the days that you want. You can arrange your calendar the way you want. I know with my daughter, and she's kind of grown up now, I would split that. And was like, okay, once we got this in order, that I know I'm going to pick her up from school. So I kind of this is my afternoon break. And then I'll go back to work after she's home. And I would literally have a space for her in my office so she can do her homework or whatever she needed to do. And then we have Friday is Mom's Day, where I pick her up. We're done with work. And it's whatever she wants to do with Mom. This is when Mom was still cool. Okay? So enjoy those moments while you got them. And so that's what we end up doing. Now it's my whole day. Fridays, I don't work. I'm off on Fridays. And the spa, that's my spa day. That's the day I take care of myself. So it's the doctors, mani-pedis, Reiki, whatever it is. And sometimes there's not anything on that Friday. I can choose whether I want to work or not. Or I can go, let me see, binge on Netflix. So it's kind of whatever. That is my personal day. Yeah. But that's what we teach our clients is how to arrange their days. And we focus more on the activities, not so much the time. Because you want to work with your energy levels. You may have a lot of energy like early in the morning. Not me. I'm up, but don't ask me to be human before 9 o'clock.
Okay.
I'm up before that time, but don't ask me to be human. I never had a job that required me to get up real early to be anywhere. I'm just not a morning person. But I do find my energy is a little more high in the morning. Then I kind of like get tired in the afternoon. And so it's like, okay, I know I'm going to need like an hour break. Go eat lunch, go take a quick nap, whatever. And then I'll come in and kind of finish up the rest of my day. And then I'm off in the evenings. I don't schedule things to do in the evening. Now, if I'm getting ready to launch a new product or if there's something, I may be working more in the evenings, but I don't intentionally go, okay, I'll do this in the evening. No, we're pretty much off.
So one of the best books that I read in 2023 was The No Club. And what they talked about is this idea of housework. So, somebody has to do the groceries. Somebody has to do the cleaning. Someone has to do the laundry.
Mm-hmm.
Someone has to, drive people, be the chauffeur in the house, right? Someone has to go out and do the back to school shopping and whatever. Those things they keep the house going. When they're not done, people notice. So they're required work, but nobody likes to do them. No. And on top of that, right, not only do they not like to do it, they're kind of like they're expected jobs, right? And that we have those at home, but we also have those at work. And that the majority of those tasks that are important to keep the team whole, but are not, they don't bring the money in unless you happen to be somebody who cleans somebody else's houses, right? Those tasks don't bring money in, but if somebody doesn't do it, everybody suffers as a result of that. So they called those household tasks or housework, and that the majority of those tasks fall to women. And as a result, because they fall to women, there isn't an acknowledgement of the amount of time that those things take to accomplish. And that because men end up focusing more of their time on the things that bring money in, they're seen as being more productive, as opposed to women who end up being there longer at work up to 25% more than men do at their jobs, simply because they're trying to do all those other things. And the only way to do them is to either cut back on the money producing activities or to work longer hours so your money producing activities aren't impacted.
That's one of the things that our system knows about, how to handle that. Because you're right, that stuff has to get done. I call it the spilled milk theory.
Yes.
You spill the milk, you got to take care of that milk being spilled. You can let it sit there, and you can let it sit there, and it's going to start to smell, get crusty, and it's going to be worse. How we range our time, we have what we call 4 distinct zones. Of course, the number one is that what we call rest and relaxation. You rest, relax. That's that zone. And of course, in business, we call the other one the revenue generating activities.
Right.
Not every activity, you're right, generates income. You get very focused on those ones that generate income. So I know for me, I'll have like an hour and a half on my business in the morning scheduled for doing the activities. Then I got the rest of the day to do all the, what we call the stuff zone. And yes, we have hired somebody to help out with the housework and stuff around here. So I've had off and on always had somebody. My husband with his health issues can't do a lot of the outside stuff. So we've had to hire people to do that. And I think that's part of it, Sandra, is that we don't give ourselves permission to do that.
Yes.
You're actually giving somebody else an income doing it. And as women, we're like, oh, we got to carry this on our shoulders. Well, if your husband, boyfriend, significant other isn't going to go get you a wife, then you can hire one. so that's basically how I do this. And then we have our other zone, the fourth one, which we call smooth sailing. Because our whole theme is like sailing into unstoppable success, my book, The Journey to Me. It's all about prepping and getting ready to have that smooth sailing. Spending time, on your mindset, planning, reviewing the stuff that's also important as well. And when you take your activities and arrange them, how, you can have a whole day where you're doing stuff. As long as you're doing those other times and those aren't falling through the cracks, then it's okay. And that becomes the big problem is that when you get physically drained, when you're on the verge of burnout, if you're like me, you're crying on the floor the one day because you realize, why did I start this business? Because I was up to 6 weeks of paid vacation, right? And it's just one of those things. It's like when you're tired, you're not going to do the money activity stuff because the number one is relationships. Those take time.
Yes.
They take time to nurture. And so as long as you keep those as priorities, you can do the rest of the stuff. Because you're right. That stuff it needs to get done.
Yes, it does.
Like what I used to say is I found out dust bunnies were on the endangered species list. So I had an environment that was very conducive for the reproduction of dust bunnies.
This sounds like a fabulous idea.
It's fabulous, isn't it? And that if it became overpopulated, we would just like, okay, it's time to disperse. The kids need to go find a new home. And that's also too, is that my house has never been spick and span clean.
Right.
It's lived in. Because to me, there's more important things to do. And that's part of it too, is like, what can you release?
Mm-hmm.
That, do I have to have my floors waxed every week? No. Maybe. That's up to you.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think the other important part to consider in this conversation as well is that there's a certain amount of privilege that is baked into it as well, in the sense that some families are not in a financial position to be able to outsource some of this housework.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, things are really tight. In fact, I was listening to a report that because the government is shut down right now, that a lot of government workers are actually going out and doing door dashing right now, or Instacart, because trying to make ends meet right now. Most families are one paycheck away from a complete financial disaster. So there are choices that we can make in terms of outsourcing some of the housework. Yes. I'm like, Annette introduced me to Instacart and DoorDash, and I'm like a huge fan at this particular point of doing that. But that does come, there is privilege that's baked into that. And some people aren't in a position to be able to support that. And I know right now with the return to office, that's been a really big issue that has impacting women with children who are school age, elementary school age, where, elementary schools don't make it easy for parents either, right? Pick up the kids at like 2:15. Like, who gets off work at 2:15, right?
And that's just that the school system is still set up like we're out there plowing fields. It's set up for the agrarian society, which has not been around for like 100 and something years.
Yes.
And if you've got smaller children, they can help out around the house. They can help out.
They can.
It just becomes the priority. Now, I still go get my groceries. My husband and I make a night of it. It's like, okay, let's go get the groceries. It's kind of almost our date night, sort of, and it's also too, let's stop, and we also have a night, let's go out and eat or whatever. But, I'm just, I guess we lost Sandra for a minute, but it is it is about, there was times like, no, we could not have. We went on debt free, got rid of our debt. Oh no, it was like, no, we had to get rid of all the housekeepers, all that to get rid of the debt. And so it is choices. And if you are running your business, you run it around what's going to work for you. And a lot of it just, you have to get super focused. It's
and so this system can work for anybody.
Yes.
It sounds like it could work for everybody once they're clear on their priorities, once they get the rest and relaxation in, and then get to their business. And the business can mean they run a business for themselves or they work for somebody else, but work or professional time, and then their personal time doing the invisible housework. As long as they're clear on what they want to accomplish, clear on what they're letting go. Letting go is the hardest, but I think it happens too as you get a little bit more experienced in life. Things that I would not let go when I was 25 or 30 have long been let go now that I'm not that age. So, and, I want to say that the way we were socialized, at least the way I was brought up, there was very distinct roles. There were very clear ideas that I was raised with, like, we do this at our house, we do that. And then as you get older and you're like, I don't have to do that. I don't have to, like, ironing clothes. That doesn't happen at our house, right? If it needs to be ironed, it doesn't get bought usually, right? So there's things that I don't do anymore. And that's part of those conscious choices about where anybody here at the house is spending their time.
And that's what you made a very good point, is what are priorities? I have to iron because I can't wear synthetics.
Yeah.
I can't wear plastic clothing. So all my fibers are natural.
Yeah.
Do I spend a day ironing? No. The ironing board and the iron is in the closet. So if I'm going to wear something, it comes out, I iron it and it goes away. So, okay. So, and there are sometimes I'm going, does this really need to be ironed? I'm just running to the store.
Right.
So,
maybe it gets like a fresh tumble in the dryer. And
yes. A lot of it can't even go in the dryer. So it's an interesting life. And so it is prioritizing. It's the activities. All your activities fall into what we call 3 areas: personal, business, or if you want to include work, and family, social. Everything falls in. And if you follow the 80-20 rule, 80% of the stuff, you can let go, because only 20% is going to give you the biggest return. Unfortunately, a lot of times we focus on that 80, that it's like dragging us down, and we're only seeing 20% return on it. And that's called housework. Okay. But at the same time, is it really? No. These are things that still need to be done. Like, think of the spilled milk. If you don't care if you got spilled milk, hey, it's like my daughter, she functions in a messy environment. Somewhat messy at the moment, but I have to straighten it out eventually. And she got to have that loud music playing. But that's how she functions. And we always told her, look, this is your room. You can keep it as messy as you want, as long as it didn't trail out of the room and down the stairs. So, and I know us growing up, the guys got to play, my brothers, we did the housework. And so I've got a major allergic reaction now to housework. To me, it's like, it's not that important. It's never filthy per se, but it will be dusty. I must say that we just hired somebody to do a deep clean. And maybe that's something you set aside, maybe just $5 a week, $10 a week, and hire someone to come once a year and do a deep clean.
Yeah.
Because we just can't do it anymore. I physically can't do it. My husband can't do it. And even though my daughter has moved back with us, thank goodness, because of the health issues and we're getting older, she's going to school. I think she'll finish up her one. I forget whatever she's on, whether it's her PhD or whatever it is. She works full time. Plus she does little side gigs on top of that. And then she's got the audacity to think she needs a weekend off to go see the boyfriend. So, so she needs downtime as well.
Yes.
But she helps out and pitches, with things as well. But you look and say, how much do I need to have done with a big house? I actually would divide the house up. We did the downstairs one week. We did the upstairs the next week. Mm-hmm. And one of those would be, yes, we're going to do a bigger clean, wherever that was. Then it just reversed. And so split it up.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of like, you're talking about housework, but business stuff as well.
Yeah.
You got to keep your office, you don't have to, but you want your office clean. And I do twice a year, go through and purge stuff. So I'll be going through doing a purge pretty soon, because all those, what do I call it, soupy or whatever it is, Hallmark movies, Christmas movies are going to come on.
Okay.
It's a great time to go grab the shredder, bring it into the family room and shred away, and go through bins and purge and stuff. So there's things you can do and still binge on Netflix. Okay. So you can do that kind of stuff. You can sort through your mail. Also, too, so I don't have to keep track of when things are always due. Some of it's automated. Some of it I don't want automated. But I use Trello. I've got, here's my bills. Oh, it's this day. And I can just go right on and pay everything. So there's a lot of things that you can use out there to help you stay more organized. Mm-hmm. So just kind of keep that in mind. Same thing with your business. I know me, it's like I've probably got 80 million of these around. And I use leaded pencils because I'm a drafts person. We're used to having super sharp pencils. I will set those down. I have no idea where I'll set them down. So I have to have a whole bunch here in my cup. And then I have my other cup, the refill cup. And then when I don't have any more in this cup, it's like, and I don't see more on my desk, it's time for me to go fill those up. It takes 10 minutes, right? So figure out what works with you. What is your personality? What's going to work with you, and work with that.
Yeah. I think there's a couple of things that I wanted to jump in on while you were chatting. For me, it's glasses, and not like I wear glasses. I wear prescription glasses, but the glasses I'm talking about are those ones that, now that I've gotten over the age of 40 and I don't want to do the trombone arm anymore. Yeah. So I love that on Amazon for $12 you can order a pair of 5, and I think I have yes, exactly.
There's a bunch of them around my house as well. I got some nice.
Oh yeah, I have at least 6 packages of 5, so that's 30 glasses. I have them everywhere, and of course I only have one pair of prescription glasses. And when I say, okay, I'm going out, has anybody seen my glasses? Everybody's bringing me every glass except for the ones that I actually need to drive in. I'm like, dudes, but what I did want to say, and I think we've kind of bounced around it a little bit, and I really want to put a nail in it. We value busyness. So busy. But let's put a pin on, right, the fact that we must rest. We must disconnect. We must find a way to care for ourselves, because we're actually doing damage to our genes epigenetically. And those things carry down to future generations. Now, I'm way past the childbearing age, but for those people who are, definitely in that bracket, please consider that, this is not only damaging your health, it's damaging future generational health as well.
Yeah, because they have found out that this stuff gets passed.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's why time off is the number one priority for us. And I tell people I work with you, if you're not going to take time off, then I don't want your money. Go somewhere else. There's plenty of other stuff out there. And every one of my clients when they've done this, they'll come back and go, oh my gosh, I can't believe how clear my head is.
Yes.
Even if it's just once a month,
Yes.
how clear your head is. Also, too, it doesn't have to be like, you do want a whole day. I'm going to tell you right now, you want a whole day. But throughout the day, I take breaks.
Yes.
I take my one coach, she told all of us to put the mindfulness bell. I have an Apple, so I probably, what is it? Android, whatever that other thing is. There's probably something, I don't know. I'm in the Apple ecosystem. So for Apple.
That was so good, Anne.
What's that other thing?
Whatever it is.
There's some app, and it's called the mindfulness bell. And I have mine so it goes off, I think, like every hour. Sometimes it's randomly. Now, I may be in the middle of doing something, and I go, okay, I'll come back. I'll just wait till the next one. Or I just might pause and take a few deep breaths and go back to what I'm doing. Or I'll take a longer time. Even before I get out of bed in the morning, there's this thing on my maybe you don't have one, but it's called snooze.
Oh, I'm a huge fan of the snooze button.
I hit that snooze, and I've got at least 9 minutes of meditating. So you don't need to do hours and stuff. There's also, I'm reaching into here.
That's okay.
These things, they're called little timer clocks.
Yes.
And even if you're doing housework, whatever it is, you just set this alarm, and then it will go ding, 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 and it will go off. And I'm lost with that. I am literally lost without the timer, because you can get very focused with having that, oh, I'm only going to have this much time to do something. It goes off, you can negotiate again.
Right.
There's also something that you did when you were 2 years old that was absolutely amazing, and it was taken away from you. And it is called no.
Oh.
N-O, no, complete sentence. And I often will say, no, you don't need to explain it. It's no.
Yeah.
What do you say? No. And if someone goes, no, they don't understand, but what part didn't you understand? The N or the O? Okay. Which one did you? It's no. No explanation needed. Just no. You can say no. Recapture your childhood inner 2-year-old and say no. And it's putting boundaries around also.
Yeah.
We're talking about, if I'm working business, I'm really, unless it becomes absolutely necessary, I'm not doing personal time.
Yeah.
I already told you I don't work the evenings. I'm off. So I'm not in my office unless I choose to be. It's separated. So keeping that stuff separated, you're allowed to do that. And you may not be able to, do what I'm doing, but it took a while to put this in place.
Sure. Yeah.
You decide, how do I want my ideal week, month to look like? Mm-hmm. And you can go online and download like weekly calendar thingies and just block it out. Say, this is what I'd like, and then work towards it. Mm-hmm. And I tell my clients as well, this is when they start working with me, that you're going to have way more stuff days and stuff, zones than the others, because you've got a whole lot of stuff that needs to be taken care of. Yeah. And as long as I say you're doing those other things, then you don't fall behind. A lot of times when we get into that exhaustion and we're like, constantly going, we let the stuff, all the marketing go bye-bye. And then we end up on that income roller coaster. It's like, oh my gosh, the bills are due. I have to quickly put something together now. And the more you can trim your business down, the better. Like, even with me, it's taken me a while just to get down to, here's our main thing, up and down from that. Mm-hmm. So it really takes the marketing down. It makes things a lot easier to do. So look at your business. Is everything related? Or are you just randomly throwing things out there?
Yeah.
And you
I
don't
think
have
that's
to be
a really good point that you're making, Anne, is that I don't know about everybody else who's listening, but for me, I want it all now. And I want it to happen now. I want to be, my life is all like perfect now. And just taking a small step sometimes feels like this is such a drop in the bucket. But we don't get where we need to be in one step. We get there through a practice and a process of doing one tiny step all the time. And it's going to take time. We just don't like the time. We want it to be the quick fix.
Well,
right?
the problem, I'm going to put a little caveat on that. Celebrate those.
Yes.
Celebrate that tiny step. I know I've written about, there's several, my posts and stuff on LinkedIn about celebrating the tiny steps.
Yeah.
I think it's a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step.
Yeah.
You learn to walk taking one step. And a lot of it too is like, we all want it now. And I don't even want it now. I want it yesterday.
Yes.
Okay. Yesterday. But it's also trusting the process. And that's where all that mindset, following that intuition, learning to really lean into your intuition. Because if you really lean into that and follow, we call that your inner me, your true me, your magical essence. If you follow that, life's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be problem free. But things seem to go a whole lot smoother. And there will be, I got plans, but I may be nudged to do something completely different. And I'm going, okay, I'm going to follow the nudge.
Mm-hmm.
And you get in that zone and things just, they go, they flow. And it's a lot of it is trust. And that you have to really, that is a muscle. You have to work that muscle. Because along with no being drummed out of us, so is following that inner voice. Your true me. And, our logo is a compass pointing to, instead of true north, to true me. And so when you actually do that and really rely on that inner guidance, and I just have a phenomenal coach that, that teaches a lot of that stuff. She does a lot of good business, but I won't work with anybody who doesn't include the mindset, the inner guidance. And, then I also went for my certification for law of attraction also. Although you don't need certification for that, I just went and got it anyway. You start out, once again, you start out small, pay attention. Oh, dang, I should have listened to that. I still will go, oh, dang, I should have listened to that. And that helps out a lot also. So a lot of the things when you were a kid that were drummed out of you, go back to them. Just go right back to them.
Yeah, we've been socialized out of it. And this is such a good conversation. I'm so glad we got to spend this time with you today. And for our audience that maybe doesn't know you as well as Sandra and I do, how can we get in touch with you?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn. Here's another thing you can do. Get on one platform. You don't have to be on all the platforms. 25 years ago, you could be on several because there's only a few out. Now it's like every day there's a new one coming out. Pick one. I'm on LinkedIn. That's where I'm at. So you can come connect with me on LinkedIn. Also, you can go, I want to make sure I'm going to give the correct address. It's 5, the number 5, timestealers.com. And this is actually, it's 5 hidden things that will steal your time and you're not even aware of it. And some of it is about the mindset stuff. So you want to get that. And that will help you as well point out, because a lot of times we're not even aware of where our time is really going. So that's 5timestealers.com. You want the numeral 5. And go pick that up for free, but also connect with me on LinkedIn.
Thank you so much, Anne. Again, we are so lucky to have you. I feel refreshed and I feel like I'm ready to let go. So I might be starting this list right after this call.
Yeah, go do that. And I got a little thing on here that says, here it is. And I think it's probably backwards in your thing, but
it looks good.
And this sits on my desk. And so it's always there.
Good
And it's
reminder
always
for
there,
you.
so I see it, and it's like, yes, let go. And I invented perfectionism and put it out in the world. So for me to let go is hard. Not anymore. Not like it used to be. It has actually made my life so much easier to let go of perfectionism. And I'm just amazed at how much easier things are when you're not trying to be perfect.
Yeah.
Because you are perfect just the way you are. You
Yeah.
don't need to be anything else.
So true.
Perfect note. Thanks, Anne.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. It was great to talk.
It was fun. It's great seeing you guys again. Okay. Bye for now.
Bye. That's a wrap on this episode of Exposing the Hidden Reality. If something hit home or made you snort laugh, tell us.
Seriously, we love hearing from you. Message us, tag us, or send us coffee. We love coffee.
And hey, leave a review. It helps more women find us and boosts our egos.
Which are like fragile, like suspiciously fragile.
True. All right, until next time, keep questioning, keep growing, and if all else fails,
Blame the dog.
See you next time. Wait, did we stop recording?
No, we're still here. You have to push the red button.
Red button. Cool. Just eternal podcast.
Bye.
Bye.